Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've done a car video and I didn't want to waste any time on this because I'm excited. I've gone through a whole series of emotions based on an announcement that was put out yesterday by Steve Donahue and Micah Cummins announcing their April book selection for their monthly read-along that started in February with Essex Dogs, which I absolutely loved. Continued this month with Shogun, which I wanted to read, but just haven't been able to. Don't worry, I'll get back around to that. But in April, they are reading Beowulf. And not just one Beowulf. They are going to read 4 translations of Beowulf. For those that are newer here, Beowulf is one of my absolute favorites. It is one of the few non-Tolkien works that would be featured in my top 5. I'm pretty sure I put it in my top 5. I'd have to go back and watch my top 20 that I made last year. If it's not in the top 5, it's really close to it. I reread Beowulf most years, and I can't get enough of it. So the idea of reading 4 translations of Beowulf in a month absolutely appeals to me. So we are kicking things off with the first week of April by reading J.R.R. Tolkien's translation of Beowulf. It's been probably, I'd have to look at when it came out, but I think I read it when the translation came out and haven't touched it since. So I'm very, very interested to dive back into it. And if I'm not mistaken, I can thank Juan from Plagued by Visions for sending me the copy that I have on my shelf. So I'm excited to dive into that. The second week, we are going to dive into the current Penguin Classics version of Beowulf. I think it's Michael Alexander. I could be wrong about that. I'll have the down below. It's a verse translation. And many thanks to Steve Donahue. I got a e-copy of that in my Kindle now because that was the one translation I was missing. The third week, we're going to read the Burton Raffell translation of Beowulf, which used to be the landmark go-to translation. I've never read it, so that I'm very excited for. So weeks 2 and 3 are going to be new to me translations. And then week 4, we're capping it off with Seamus Heaney, which is endlessly rereadable. And I'm excited to dive back into there, not only because I'm excited for the translation, but much like the Tolkien one that has a lot of notes and everything in it, I'm excited to dive into my Norton Critical version of this Beowulf translation and read the stuff that goes with that. Now, those 2 extras are not mandatory to join along. In fact, you don't even have to read all 4 of them. I would strongly recommend, if you've never read Beowulf, at the very least, join us week 4 for the Seamus Heaney translation read. It is the one that you're probably going to be able to find the easiest out in the wild, and it is phenomenal. Absolutely wonderful. I would love everyone, if you've never read Beowulf, please join us. It's great. And then week 5, Steve threw out a bonus that he is going to read Grendel by John Gardner, which is kind of an adaptation of the Beowulf story, told from the perspective of Grendel, I believe. I've never read it. I don't own it. I've seen it before. I have always told myself I need to get this. I don't have it, so I can't join in on that. But if I have found anything from the 500 book challenge, is that when there's a need, there are plenty of very, very wonderful people that are willing to step in and help provide. But if I don't get a chance to read Grendel, I'm okay with that. I have plenty of other things to read, and at some point in time, I probably will have Grendel. Heck, I might even go to the library and just check out a copy of it, even though it won't count towards my 500. That's how excited I am to actually get around to it. And it's not a huge book. I think it's only 200 or 300 pages long, if memory serves. So there we go. There's an announcement for April. I've officially been added as a kind of a co-host, and I couldn't be more excited about it. We'll talk more about translation to kick off the month of April, because when dealing with Beowulf, we're reading 4 translations. None of these are going to be in the original language. And it's important to understand what nuance the translator can bring to the process of enjoying something like this. One only has to point to the Maria Devana Headley translation, which was recently published and heralded by many as a landmark translation, to see the impact that a translator can have on how you interact with a text. So there we go. We are diving into Beowulf. I hope you will join me. I couldn't wait to make a video on this. I didn't want another day to pass without being able to do this. So that's why I'm out here doing this now. And thank you, and have a great day.